Hey there, Wildtree Rise. Good morning. I hope you all are waking up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like I am. I apologize for the no makeup, but you're just going to get the real me today. And I really wanted to make sure I popped in and helped you with your go time today. Today is the first day you're going to be doing your 10 calls and entering your CSFs. Some of you got a little bit of a head start last week, which is fantastic, but I wanted to make sure I popped in live today to share with you a little bit about how I create my schedule, how I do my schedule, and how I go about my day. I've been working with a coach with Southwestern for the last month, and she really challenged me to create a schedule that was going to allow me a little bit more freedom in my day and a little bit more flexibility, but yet get a lot done. So she put me up to the challenge, and one of the things that she had me do was write out my schedule for the entire week on Sunday. I actually have to turn in my schedule every single Sunday to her, so she actually holds me accountable to that, which I think is fabulous. And I am going to tell you that the first time I had to turn in my schedule on a Sunday for the entire week, Sunday to Sunday, it took me like 2 hours to do. It was a lot of work. But I knew it was going to be worth it in the long run. And now I can pretty much do my schedule on a Sunday in a quick 30 minutes because it's become just habit and I kind of understand it now. So I wanted to share some tips with you. So I do recommend that you plan out your week every single Sunday so that you know exactly what appointments you already have in your calendar that you can't miss. You know, we all have things like the dentist, and we got to go to the orthodontist for our kids, and you've got all kinds of appointments that you already have in your calendar. Some of you work full-time, some of you work part-time, but all of us have different parts of our day that we can chunk and already know that we already have prior commitments to. So that's how you start scheduling your week. You look at what you already have commitments to and where you can fill in those holes with your Wildtree business. So one of the things that I looked at when I was looking at my schedule was the hours that I was sleeping. So I decided to just challenge myself and buy back some hours by not sleeping in every single day. I actually, just a little bit about me, I have 2 little girls. They are 8 and 10, and I stay home with them. I do Wildtree full-time, and Wildtree is my full-time business, and that's what I do full-time, but I'm also a mom, and I do that full-time as well. So I was kind of being selfish, I guess, and was sleeping in until 7:30 a.m. every single morning. So I thought, but one of the problems was I was doing Wildtree at night when I should be with my family. When my husband was home from work, when my kids were home from school, Wildtree was still spinning in my head because I was not getting a lot done during the day, and I knew I needed to buy back some of those hours. So one of the things I challenged myself to do was to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning every single day and work my Wildtree business from 6 to 7:30 every single day of the week. That's an hour and a half of time that I bought back for myself, and that's when I do my administrative work. So you can see I haven't put on my makeup yet. It's 8:30. I'm going to head to the gym. I don't like to wear makeup to the gym. So that's what I'm doing this morning. But that first hour and a half of the day, my kids are usually sleeping. If they're not, they're doing some chores or just watching a TV show. They'd kind of, and it is summertime, so I'm not talking about our school schedule yet, but it's still summertime for us. So they don't really get up and eat breakfast until about 7:30 anyways. So from 6 to 7:30, I get up, I get my coffee, got it in my hand right now, coffee in my Wildtree mug, and I do all my administrative work. that I do not do my 10 calls. I'm not calling anybody at 6 o'clock in the morning, so don't worry about that. I'm not texting people that early. I don't know who's sleeping with their phone next to their bed. I feel like there is a little bit of etiquette around when you text people. You just never know whose phone is on or where it is in their house. So I am doing all my administrative work. And what does that mean? I am doing all of those little details that you know we have to do in this business. I'm doing invites. I'm creating Facebook parties. I'm creating the Facebook invite. I'm doing text invites in Red Stamp. I'm doing posts on Facebook if I have to get in and do some posting on a hostess's workshop event page. I'm doing emails, like answering all my emails that I got from the night before. Just catching up on all of those things that happen when we sleep and in the night when I'm not working my Wildtree business. So that's when I get up and I get all of that done. Already today, I have done 2 invites for parties I have coming up. I've entered a freezer meal workshop order. That's submitted and ready to go. I connected with that hostess at 8 o'clock this morning on texting, so I got that out of the way. So I got a lot done already today. Let's see, I cleaned my kitchen. I've done a load of laundry. The reason I had to clean up my kitchen was I'm actually hosting a freezer meal workshop Kids in the Kitchen event today at my house at 1 o'clock. So I wanted to make sure that was all prepped and ready to go. So I've already gotten a lot done this morning before my day's really gotten started. Now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I head to the gym. There's a boot camp class that I love. I'm not willing to give that up for my Wildtree business or for anyone else. That has been in my schedule and in my routine probably for the last 10 years. So that is what I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I head to the gym at 9 o'clock, and that's an hour class from 9 to 10. Then I come back home and I take a shower. Typically, my day really wasn't starting until after I got home from the gym and showered. So I wasn't starting my administrative work until 11 a.m. But now, when I get home from the gym, I actually have a coaching call. I have an onboarding call with a new team member that joined at 11:15. And then I have a coaching call with my business coach at noon. And then I have a workshop at my house at 1 o'clock. As soon as I get off the phone with her, so I have to have my kitchen ready to go. Having people over, we're going to have a great time this afternoon prepping our meals. And I have my 10 dinners ready to go. And then I'll have a chunk in the afternoon to do my 10 calls. I already have that in my schedule for 3 o'clock this afternoon. I call that my golden hour. That is the hour in which you are going to really be laser focused on moving your business forward. Everybody has to have this hour slated for their day, especially all of you that are waking up today, and today's going to be your first day of your 10 calls a day, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. You know, it's the first day of all our resolutions here. But I don't want that to die out for you, and I don't want it to become hard for you. So that's why on Sunday, if you can plug that golden hour into your day, when it works for you, and when you know you can commit to doing it, that's what you have to do. And I want you to bold it in red, put a highlighter through it. That is your hour that you are committing to moving your business forward. All the administrative stuff, getting your invites out and catching up on emails and catching up on text messages and private messages, that's just stuff you have to do. That's just part of the business, but that's not really moving your business forward. That golden hour where you're reaching out to people for bookings, for joining the business, for sharing the app, those are things that are really going to move your business forward and build sales and build your team and just make your business really great. So that hour is super important. Some of you might go, oh my gosh, but when I look at my day, you know, I work full time, or and some of us really do, and you don't have as much time as maybe I do. I'm totally going to go ahead and admit that. Some of you don't. But you still can find time, that golden hour where you can get those calls made. Last week, my daughter had an appointment at the doctor, and I knew I was going to be there for an hour, and I was just going to be sitting in the waiting room. Guess what? That was my golden hour. I brought my notebook with me, I brought my phone with me, and I got my calls made. So I knew already that day that I was just going to be sitting in a waiting room. So think about those kinds of things Some of you that commute to work, maybe you can commute to work a little bit early and sit in your car and get 5 calls made then, and then before you drive home in the evening, you could do another 5 calls. So there are spots in your day when you can really just fit this in. And then as far as your administrative work, you're just going to want to figure that out on your own. Some of you may like to work late at night. I personally don't. My husband and I like to go to bed at 10 o'clock. We like to go to bed at the same time. That's just what works for us in our family. So doing all my administrative work, I was trying to do it at night, but it was really wreaking havoc on our family. So that's when I decided to go ahead and get up early. That's when my husband gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5:30 in the morning, and get all my administrative work done then. And then I don't even think about Wildtree the rest of the day. I know when I'm going to do my golden hours, and I get those done. So during the time that I have slated. And the best part is, you guys, is Wildtree is not spinning throughout the day. It's not spinning in my head because I've just wiped a bunch of it off my plate, and I know exactly when I'm going to work my business. So I wanted to look at you to see my planner here. This is my planner. You can see on the, well, I don't know what side it is for you guys, but I don't know. On one side, I write out my 10 calls for the day, and on the other side, I do my administrative work. So I don't know, it's chicken scratch probably to all of you, but it's a system that works for me. I've got my calls on one side of all the people I'm going to reach out to that day, and all of my little administrative tasks that I can just check off my list on the other side. That way I just wake up and I know exactly what I'm going to do. I went through on Sunday and I just planned out who I was going to call every day. You can see that Wednesday is blank. The reason Wednesday is blank is because my family is going whitewater rafting on Wednesday. We're going to North Carolina. I'm not working Wildtree on Wednesday. I'm not even going to think about it because I'm going to be on the water. I'm not going to have a phone, and I'm not even thinking about it. It's going to be my family time. I am going to be in the car on Tuesday driving to North Carolina, so I am actually going to get 15 contacts made that day, and I'm going to be in the car driving back from North Carolina on Thursday, and I'm going to do 15 calls on Thursday. And guess what? It evens out. I will have made my 50 calls for the week because I put 15 on one day and 15 on another day. And then on Friday, I'll do 10 more. So that's a good tool to remember to do when you know you're going to have to take an entire day off to be with your family. If you're going on vacation or just need a day off to do something really fun with your family, you just have to kind of move things so that you don't get behind on your 10 contacts a day. What else do I want to share with you? You may have coaching calls with your team members. Those are going to get slated into a time slot for your day. You don't want to be, you want to make sure you're reaching out to your own team for onboarding, orientation calls, hostess coaching, reaching out to your leaders, LITs, and team members in your worker bees. So you want to make sure you've got times slated for those as well. I am taking comments and questions. I'm looking at some of these. Great job, love this, amazing. Okay, if you have any questions or comments right now, like maybe you have a question about how this might work for you, feel free to drop a comment right down here in the comment section, and feel free to also reach out to your upline leader if you're kind of having trouble struggling with scheduling your day. It does take time to sit down and kind of wrap your head around scheduling yourself out for an entire week, and that doesn't always work for everybody, but I can tell you it's really worked for me, and it was a challenge in the beginning. No matter how perfect your day is, guess what? Life happens, and stuff's going to come up and creep in, and you're not going to be able to stick to this perfect plan, and that's okay. That's why I get up early and get some of that administrative work out of the way when everyone's sleeping, because nobody can interrupt me at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's the beauty of getting up early. For some of you, you might have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know everybody's schedule and day, but that's what works for me. but getting some of this out of the way when you know nobody can bother you and nothing can get in your way really helps a lot. And then if your whole rest of your day falls apart, at least you've gotten some things done and you know when your golden hour is. And sometimes that golden hour is going to have to get moved around too, but you just have to make sure that it becomes a big priority in your day, and it's the one thing that you're probably not going to want to do. It's kind of like, ugh. Some days you're just going to be like, I don't know if I really want to pick up the phone. I don't know if I really want to sit down and do this. But that's just going to have to be something that you do, and you just eat your frogs and you do it, and the rest of the day is going to feel so much better. So we all know that things pop up in life and our schedules can't be perfect, but I think if you write it down and you have a plan, you have so much better of a chance to make things work out. So I don't see any comments right now or questions, but that doesn't mean for those of you that are going to watch this on the playback, you might have a question. Oh, wait, I think one's popping in right now. How do you manage the sporadic times when people get back to you? I sometimes feel like I'm tied to my phone because people get back to me when they can, and I want to respond in a timely manner, but I don't want Wildtree to take over my life. That's such a good question, Maria. That is something that is going to happen. You are going to be reaching out, making these 10 calls, and you're going to get all of these responses back, and they're going to be at crazy hours. I personally just make a rule of thumb that during about 5 o'clock at night, between the hours of 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, I am really trying to make an effort not to look at my phone or touch my phone. That's when my family's home, my husband's coming home from work, we're having dinner, the kids have practices, there's just all kinds of stuff going on at night, and that's why I'm getting up early in the morning to respond to all of that. You're not going to lose a booking or a recruit or anybody just because you didn't respond like the second that they responded back to you. Now, if you want to build in some time in the evenings to get back to somebody, to get back to your text messages and get back to your emails, that's totally up to you. Maybe you schedule some time between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock where you respond to all of that. Or maybe you respond to all of that in the morning. Or maybe you take breaks in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, to respond to text messages and things that have come through. You just have to decide when it's really important for you to be working your Wildtree business and when it's important for you to just be with your family and not get back to them. Just because you see a little red icon in your text message thing and you've got 5 text messages doesn't mean you have to respond to them right away. Same with private messenger and same with emails. You do not have to respond to those right away. Time block it. Make time to respond to those things. If you're with your family, you're with your family. You're not responding to a hostess. You're not responding to a recruit lead. You may be excited. That's always exciting when people respond to you and you're excited about all that stuff. But if you're truly wanting to be with your family at that time, then just respond later. Nobody's going to panic or think that you're lost in la la land if you haven't gotten back to them in a few hours. So hopefully that helps. If you have any other questions, definitely comment below, but I don't want this to get too long. So that's how you go. Oh, wait a second. I just started making a list of who I will be contacting in the next few days in a daily to-do notebook. Yep, that sounds like a good plan. This is my daily to-do notebook as well. I like to write things down. I also have my schedule electronically so that my husband can see it and my business coach can see it. So it is nice to have some accountability on that as well. So if your upline leader wants to be your accountability partner and like you guys can share your schedules with each other, do that. That's an idea that you can do. It does help to force yourself to have to write things down. So that's it. Thanks, guys.